Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. MALLOR GRODNER Attorneys providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.
Coming up on Indiana Newsdesk. The 90-day window to remonstrate against Bloomington's proposed annexation of more than 14,000 people is open.
It's almost like we have 7 different annexations going on. And that might confuse people.
If 65% of landowners in an area remonstrate, that annexation would be invalidated. Bloomington-based Cook Medical is partnering with Goodwill to bring a fresh food market to a northeast Indianapolis neighborhood that has no grocery stores.
It's hard to get food. It's not a bus line around here to the next grocery store. So where do people get their food from? Gas stations, Family Dollars, Dollar General.
The store will be built next to a new Cook manufacturing facility. And a Bloomington restaurateur is keeping his son's memory alive by sharing the music he made with the public. Those stories, plus the latest news headlines, right now on Indiana Newsdesk. Welcome to Indiana Newsdesk. I'm Joe Wren. Well, the CDC has now approved booster shots for all 3 of the COVID-19 vaccines, but many Hoosiers still remain unvaccinated. Health experts continue to push for everyone who can to get the vaccine. Pat Bean reports.
There have been almost 49,000 breakthrough cases of COVID-19 recorded in the state. Those cases are defined as positive cases identified at least 14 days after a final dose of the vaccine. And while that sounds like a large number, it's just 1.5% of the number of fully vaccinated Hoosiers, and it's out of more than 1 million positive cases recorded in the state since the pandemic began 18 months ago.
There are orders of magnitude more people who are being hospitalized without being vaccinated than who are vaccinated.
The state has recorded 531 breakthrough deaths, but that's only 3% of the total COVID-19 deaths in the state, which are closing in on 16,000. Grana says that aside from the health protections the vaccines provide, there's a monetary reason to get vaccinated as well.
The Merck pill that's going to be coming out costs about $700 for a regimen. The antibody infusions, the monoclonal antibodies, those cost about $2,000. A hospitalization costs over $20,000. And that vaccine, to us, is free.
Still, vaccine hesitancy remains an issue in the state. Indiana ranks in the bottom third in the nation in percentage of the population fully vaccinated at just around 50%. And the number of individuals getting their booster shots is currently outpacing those getting their first and second shots by around a 2-to-1 margin.
The data clearly shows you are much more protected with the vaccine than without. And so I would just encourage people to continue to look at the data. And if they have questions or concerns, reach out to their healthcare provider to have those conversations.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Pat Bean.
Hospitals are not only dealing with the increased patient load due to the pandemic, but they've also been facing an increase in cyber attacks. Earlier this month, the Columbus Regional Hospital went on high alert after a number of incidents were reported in nearby hospitals, including Johnson Memorial Health in Franklin and Schneck Medical Center in Seymour. And in August, Indianapolis-based Eskenazi Health experienced an attack that halted access to electronic medical records and required ambulances to bypass the city's safety net hospital. We're joined now by Apu Kapadia, a professor of computer science at IU's Luddy School of Informatics, Computing and Engineering. Hello, Professor, and welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So cyber attacks continue to be a threat. What's the goal of these attacks?
Yeah, essentially the goal of ransomware is to extract money from you, essentially to get you to pay a ransom. And how could they do that? One example is the hackers can get into your systems, and then they can encrypt your data. Not all of it, maybe some of it, the crucial files, and now you cannot access your own data. And then they demand a ransom, and once you've paid the ransom, they unlock your files for you. And that's a typical way in which ransomware will operate, and that's how the hackers and the cyber criminals will make their money. It doesn't always have to be about encrypting your data. Sometimes they can steal data and then threaten to release the data, like hospital medical records. They can say, we're going to release all this sensitive data into the public if you don't pay up.
Now, the FBI wants companies to contact them when they're hit with cyber attacks, but many just pay the ransom so that they can get their system back. So what's the best option for a company that has been compromised?
You know, this is a tough question, tough ethical question, right? So it's easy for us to just say, well, you should not pay up. By some estimates, more than half the victims do pay up. Some police departments have paid up. So, you know, it's just tough. You know, what are the downsides of paying? It may not always work to pay. Sometimes only part of your data gets recovered. And such types of, paying up for ransomware can just encourage more attacks. That's what, people say, that this is the reason why you shouldn't pay. Now, the downside of never paying is that now you can cause attackers to really go after, high value targets, and that can be dangerous. But basically, the advice is take good backups and be able to and you should check your system to see that you can restore your data quickly. Because if you can't restore your data quickly, then typically, companies see the better option as just paying up, which is sad but true.
Okay, Professor, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
Well, the 90-day remonstration period to petition against Bloomington annexation is underway. City Council adopted 7 areas of land from the city's controversial annexation proposal. Now, if 65% of landowners in an area remonstrate, that annexation would be invalidated. If 51% remonstrate, they can fight the annexation through the court system. And local leaders say they're working hard to make a complicated process seamless to residents. The official remonstrance record is kept by Monroe County Auditor Catherine Smith's office.
In order to have it count, we have to have signatures that are notarized, or you have to sign in front of me.
She says there are some caveats. For example, a landowner who owns multiple parcels in the same annexed area can only sign one petition for one parcel.
It's almost like we have 7 different annexations going on. And that might confuse people, and we don't want that to happen. So we're here to help. I mean, that's our job.
There are other requirements to remonstrate. The landowner must have paid property taxes on the petition property. Signature must be of the property owner. Only one petition signature is allowed per parcel, and signatures must be dated after October 8th and on or before January 6th. Van Buren Township trustee Rita Barrow says she's been busy helping residents who've been asking how they can fight annexation.
What I am concerned about are the individuals that are living on Social Security or disability, or individuals that have just purchased a home and raising a family.
A database on the city's website estimates how much a landowner could pay in taxes in 2025 after annexation takes effect. For some, it could be hundreds or thousands more, but some properties could see a reduction.
You're not giving me anything except a higher tax bill.
Public hearings and annexation proceedings turned ugly and sometimes heated as residents called the proposal a power grab, too large, and taxation without representation.
Mayor Hamilton, I believe if he wanted to get his true constituents, he would have went out door to door and asked, would you like to be annexed?
We did our part of that bargain, and we think the property owner should be now part of the city. They've been getting sewer service for years, most of them.
And I'm sorry I didn't explain that to you.
Barrow says her office and volunteers won't stop collecting signatures during the remonstration period.
I'm saying they're going to have a rude awakening.
Now, Smith says she has 5 days to check the validity of the petitions and then sends them to the city. The city then checks for property waivers that could exempt the petition from remonstration. Waivers are agreements property owners sign that prohibit them from challenging annexation in exchange for city services, such as water and sewer.
if I find out your property could not be in the remonstrance, I'm going to contact you, either myself via phone if you leave your phone number, or by letter, so that you know your signature will not count.
The city has identified 3,200 parcels that would be subject to those waivers. That's about half of the total number of parcels up for annexation.
Everyone's going to be saying, Kathy, can you move a little faster? Can you move a little faster? But the most important thing is I do it correct, every I dotted, every T crossed, 90 degrees on those T's, and that in the end, people are happy and the answer is accurate.
Smith says she could have the remonstration results as early as the end of January. Planners are expected to move ahead with route selection for a new road connecting northern Kentucky with Indianapolis. Proponents say it'll drive economic development in the area, but residents are doing their best to put the brakes on the project. Adam Pinsker reports.
Nestled in the woods off North County Road 350 near Orleans, the Wesley Gulf offers a rare glimpse into an extensive underground cave system that spans for miles across southern Indiana.
Under all of this is limestone. Limestone is an absorbent type of rock, and gypsum, and one other kind.
It's like a sponge.
It's like a sponge.
Ellen Persifield lives in nearby Orangeville, a small community in Orange County that could be affected by the Mid-States Corridor project. The project's goal is to improve highway connectivity through southern Indiana by building a new road or adding on to an existing one at the Kentucky-Indiana border in Rockport. The project would extend north, eventually linking with I-69. There are 5 potential routes that are being considered by planners. 2 of the proposals would branch off to the west, connecting to I-69 near Washington. Another would simply modify 231 into an expressway or super freeway. A 4th option creates a connector road from 231 in Lagodi along Route 450 to Ulitic. Opponents of the Mid-States plans are most concerned about the 5th option, Route O, which could include an expressway through Orleans and Paoli. They worry construction would disrupt the fragile cave system just below the surface of the earth.
This is the Orangeville Rise. In 1973, it was designated as a natural historic landmark. And people who live nearby here say it's really unique for that reason because it connects to some cave systems underground. So building a road nearby, they say, is the worst possible thing that the state could do.
You have massive amounts of the sinkholes, including on the hills, in the hollers, in the valleys, in the farmlands, all over.
Persifield says with Highway 37 going north to south, eventually connecting to I-69 in Bloomington and U.S. Highway 150 going east-west, there simply isn't a need for another road.
We like the rolling hills, the scenic drives, the beauty of all of this.
Mark Nowatarski with the Coalition Against Mid-States Corridor says he's gathered 600 signatures from Du Bois County residents opposing the project.
We're not opposed to progress. We're not opposed to economic growth. We just feel that there are a lot smarter ways to go about in doing that.
Beyond the economic and environmental impact, Persifield is worried about what the Mid-States Corridor would do to the character of southern Indiana.
It would not look the same. Parts of Hoosier National would never, ever be the same. They would be destroyed. The farmlands, there are families that have been here for over 200 years.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.
A spokesperson for Mid-States declined to be interviewed until a draft environmental impact statement is released recommending a preferred route. That's expected to come early next year. Coming up next on Indiana Newsdesk. Cook Medical is building a food market next to its new plant in northeast Indianapolis to help fill a community need. And the owner of Buffalo's is keeping his son's memory alive through music. These stories and more right here on Indiana Newsdesk.
Public media's role now is more than ever to get the facts out, to be as transparent as possible, and to tell the truth as we know it.
There's a lot of information out there, and it's really hard to know what you can believe, which is why I think people turn to us again and again.
It's public media's role to try to help educate and enlighten.
PBS continues to be one of the most trusted institutions in the country.
We really do go out and meet the moment as it's happening.
We are there at the front lines asking
asking tough questions and getting important and robust answers.
We're playing a major role in combating lies, fake news.
As journalists, we are trying to bring the most fair coverage that we possibly can.
It's about digging deeper and talking to the powerful and especially to the powerless.
Public media is the place where you cut through all the noise.
We move forward by staying true to our values.
And on PBS, news is human.
Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. The Environmental Protection Agency this week laid out how it plans to address PFAS. Indiana Public Broadcasting's Rebecca Thiel reports exposure to these toxic man-made chemicals has been linked to a number of health issues.
PFAS have been found in everything from carpets to fast food wrappers to firefighting foams on military bases, like Grissom Air Reserve Base near Kokomo. EPA plans include limiting 2 kinds of PFAS in drinking water and designating some as hazardous substances. They also want companies to help research the toxicity of PFAS. EPA Administrator Michael Regan announced the roadmap in his former home state of North Carolina, where a chemical company called Chemours polluted drinking water wells.
And yet, they remained silent while the profits went up. All the time, there had been no one keeping Chemours accountable.
Some researchers and environmental groups say the roadmap is a good first step, but that the EPA should act faster and make broader PFAS rules.
We have been dealing with PFAS for, 20 years or more. And so it's a welcome step to have the roadmap. At the same time, I would have liked to see some of these steps earlier.
For Indiana Public Broadcasting, I'm Rebecca Thiel.
A study by IUPUI shows nearly a quarter of Marion County residents live in a food desert, meaning they have to travel several miles for access to healthy, fresh food. Community-based grocery stores are trying to fill the void. Adam Pinsker tells us how a Bloomington-based company is helping to eliminate food deserts.
People who have lived along Arlington Avenue in northeast Indianapolis can tell you the neighborhood has changed a lot over the years.
It's a liquor store was a car dealership, Ford dealership, a Callahan. The laundromat was a bowling alley. The blue building was a paint store.
And more changes are coming to the corner of 38th Street and North Arlington Avenue. A new grocery store, the Indy Fresh Market, will open next year.
We're going to have everything full-service grocery store. We'll have fruits, vegetables. We'll have a full-service meat department. We'll have hot food. Just about anything you can find in any other grocery store in any other neighborhood.
Michael McFarland and Marcus Williams will own and operate the store. Both men grew up in the community and know full well how difficult it is to find fresh, healthy food.
It's hard to get food. It's not a bus line around here to the next grocery store. So where do people get their food from? Gas stations, Family Dollars, Dollar Generals. There's no produce there. So we're aiming for healthy eating.
The grocery store project is a joint endeavor between Goodwill Industries and Bloomington-based Cook Medical. Cook is also building a medical device manufacturing facility adjacent to the grocery store that will create 100 jobs in the community.
Our partner, Goodwill, will run and operate that facility so they can provide wraparound services like housing stability or transportation or mental health services for employees who may need that.
Cook will help train future employees on how to make the medical devices. The Indy Fresh Market will employ up to 30 people.
We're just returning that dignity back to our neighborhood so people can have somewhere, close to their home where they can get healthy food, something that simple.
Cook officials say they have been looking to expand their operations beyond Bloomington and could have built their facilities faster by using an existing industrial park or building in Indianapolis, but they wanted to make an impact in an area of town that needed it the most.
When we started really becoming neighbors and partners with the community, they were very excited about the opportunity of having new jobs and new education initiatives.
Although supply chain issues have pushed the construction schedule back a little bit, Williams and McFarland are looking forward to the day their dreams become reality.
I'm just going to be so excited and ecstatic about it. I probably won't be able to sleep the night before.
For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Adam Pinsker.
Well, Ed Schwartzman's son, Ben, died by suicide 14 years ago. But thanks to a chance encounter with a movie producer, Ben's music will live on. Devin Ridgway has the story.
A very gifted
singer-songwriter. He died by suicide at the age of 19, and he died on October 15, 2007. It was a gorgeous day, much like today, literally a day like today. A day that everybody says, let's go outside and enjoy life. Well, when you're in a deep, dark depression, and you're bipolar, and you're possibly schizophrenic, and you're on meds, you're just looking at the world differently. His suicide was not a total surprise. He talked about death. He liked talking about, he was not a dark kid. When I say he talked about death, he just liked to talk about life in the afterlife. Well, Dad, what do you think there's life after death? And those are normal questions. He was a very, he was a thinker. He loved to think, and he loved to probe, and he loved to ask questions. And a lot of them I didn't have the answers to. I mean, who does? And ever since then, I've been thinking, what can I do with this music? I need to do something. Typically the comments were, you know, I got to tell you, when you told me the story, I was thinking, okay, it's obviously a sad story. Dad lost his son and he wants to keep his music alive, and I understand that. But holy cow, when I listen to the music, this is good friggin' music. Those kinds of feedbacks that I would get over and over and over again compelled me to say, don't give up. Don't give up. All I got to do is find the right connection, and something good is going to happen. 3 years ago, a movie producer walked into my restaurant and asked me for a contribution to feed his staff. And lo and behold, about 60 days ago, he walked into the restaurant, said, Ed, I have a surprise for you. And I've only seen this guy a handful of times. His name is John Armstrong. I said, what kind of surprise? He said, Ed, do you remember 3 years ago you gave me Ben's music? Yes. He says, I haven't forgotten about it. And I have a friend who owns a music studio called Airtime Studios. It was about 2 days later we drove up, and as we were sitting there was a band that was in the studio getting ready to record. It's a band called the Highlanders. And about a week later, one of the kids from the band called me and said, Ed, you don't know me, but I'm one of the guys in the band. I was really moved by your story. He said, I want to help you release these songs. He says, let's release 2. I said, whatever 2 you think makes sense. I think he picked not necessarily the 2 best, but the 2 most appropriate for the story, which is My Apology and Let Me Go. When Ben was going through all his struggles, the thing, we always felt that if we could at least keep him writing, keep him performing, everybody has their thing. Well, for Ben, it was obviously music. He was just so gifted, and so beautiful in the way he would play that guitar and the way he would sing. But it makes me so happy to know that he's entertaining people. And so I'm now listening to it every day in the car, and I'm singing along, and I'm literally humming the song and singing the words, which I haven't done for 14 years. You know, I don't know where we're going from here, but we're going somewhere. We're definitely going somewhere.
Ben's music can be found on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple Music. The Spencer Pride Festival returned last weekend, drawing thousands to the rural central Indiana community. It was the culmination of 2 years' work. Local commissioners tried to derail the event in 2019, and then organizers had to cancel it last year because of the pandemic. Mitch Legan reports.
Downtown Spencer was once again full of music, food, and visitors for the 14th Spencer Pride Festival.
This is my first year of being here, but so far it has just been wonderful.
Courtney Warren came out to her parents as a member of the LGBTQ community around the same time the pandemic hit the U.S. Spencer Pride was the first Pride event she ever attended.
I battled a lot of very dark feelings because of growing up in a Christian household and being gay. It's a hard, and coming out meant a lot to me, and being able to be myself and be open is pretty awesome.
The last time the Pride Festival was held was June 2019. That fall, Owen County's commissioners passed an ordinance that many saw as trying to stop the Pride Festival from being held downtown. The ordinance prohibits anyone from using the county courthouse for a special event. To work around the new rules, Spencer Pride partnered with the town and held the festival on the streets surrounding the courthouse.
Oh, we're staying in the streets. Yeah. We're good here.
Spencer Pride President Jonathan Ballish says that allowed for the biggest Pride Festival yet.
And I'm really proud of the community's turnout, and I'm really proud of our volunteers for the hard work that they've done. It's been 2 years in the making, and here we are seeing the fruits of those labors.
The Spencer population almost tripled Saturday. 6,500 people attended the festival. Before the pandemic, Spencer Pride was often one of the biggest days of the year for businesses, and it was especially important this year after a rough 2020.
It's a big weekend, and it's so thrilling just to see so many people, diverse backgrounds here in downtown Spencer. It's very exciting.
Hosting the event in person was particularly important for Balish. Isolation and lack of connection led nearly half of LGBTQ youth to consider suicide last year. Balish says after overcoming recent obstacles, the Spencer Pride Festival has proven it's staying in downtown Spencer. For Indiana Newsdesk, I'm Mitch Legan.
That's the end of this program, but our work continues online as we cover the news throughout the week at WTIUnews.org. Have a great weekend.
Indiana Newsdesk is made possible in part by Smithville Fiber Internet, streaming TV, home security and automation in Southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com. MALLOR GRODNER Attorneys, providing legal services to clients and the community. Understanding, expertise, results. Bloomington and Indianapolis. LawMG.com. IU Alumni Association, connecting IU's network of alumni and sharing the Indiana spirit through scholarships, advocacy, and volunteerism. Alumni.iu.edu. IU Center for Rural Engagement, extending IU Bloomington resources to improve Hoosier lives in partnership with communities and organizations. Rural.indiana.edu. And by WTIU members. Thank you.